Hello, my friends. Hey, welcome back to another video here, brought to you by Michael Belongowitz, folks. Good to be with you all. And today we're going to be talking about, folks, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it, right? That may be a cliche statement. Maybe some of you have heard that 10 times. Maybe some of you have heard it 100 times. The point is, folks, it has relevance, and I'm going to talk about how it's important in your everyday communication. We're going to be talking about three areas here. The first one, I'm going to be talking about the different areas of communication and their level of importance. The second area we're going to be talking about is kinesiology and what kinesiology, how it relates to the words we speak and how we say it. And the third area, folks, we're going to be talking about a personal example in real life situation of how it's important about how you say something rather than the words that you use. So let's get into it, folks. Here, the first three areas of communication that we're going to talk about right now actually is verbal communication, right, which is using your words, vocal tone, which is intonation basically, and our visual, right, which is our facial expression, and also the mannerisms that we use, our hand gestures, things like this. All of those can be considered part of our visual communication, right? So let's break it down here in order of importance from least to most, right? Folks, here it is. Shocking fact. The words we speak only serve of importance about 7%. 7% of our communication is done through the words we speak, folks. So all of you SAT achievers or overachievers out there, you can throw all those SAT words out. They don't they don't serve a purpose. Now they actually do, but folks, the words, it's impressive. 7% of our communication is just based off of words. 38% of communication is actually importance of our vocal tone, the way we intonation, the way we speak our words. And a whopping 55% is actually through our facial expression, our visual, how we see the person speaking, whether they're using their hands or a fist or any kinds of facial expressions going on. Those are 55% account for the importance of how we communicate. People actually use those more than any of the other forms of communication. So interesting fact there, folks. So take those, instead of focusing on your efforts on words, right? We always sometimes try to find out exactly the right words to think about what to say. In fact, before I shot this video, I was actually kind of thinking a while about how, what do I want to say exactly in the video to give you guys the most value. And folks, I realized words are only 7% of it. My facial expressions and my tonality are heavily more important than just the words I speak. So that gave me a new meaning as to when I made this video for y'all. The second area, folks, we're going to talk about kinesiology. What is kinesiology exactly? Kinesiology actually is muscle testing. If you've ever heard of muscle testing is where they do different things. You kind of hold your arm out and you get somebody to try to push down your arm based on different things to test your strength with either words, or even it could be food or any kind of thought that you're having. So it's an interesting thing here, but they did a study, and basically what they did was they had someone hold their arm out, right, and then they would say, "I am weak, I am so weak, I feel weak right now, I feel so weak." And basically when the person would say it in that way, they put their arm out and their arm would automatically get pushed down right away, right? Because there's no power behind that. But however, when they said, "I am strong, I am strong, I feel strong, I have strength, I am strong," right? They put their arm out and the person couldn't push the arm down. When the arm was out, the other person next to them could not physically push their arm down. So obviously, folks, that's a very clear example. However, the variable was that they went back, did it again, and had the woman say, "I am weak," but she said it in a strong tonality. She said, "I am weak, I am weak, I'm weakness, I am weak." And basically the person next to them tried to push their arm down, and it could not push their arm down. Even though she said, I am weak, I feel so weak. She said it with a vigor in her. She said, I am weak, right? So it was about the way she said it that played the importance. It wasn't so much the words in that situation. So that was a very good example of how it's important, how it's said, not versus the words that come out of your mouth. The last thing I was going to talk to you about, folks, is an example that maybe many of you can relate to, but it goes back to being in a relationship. Whoever, I don't know if you're with somebody now or maybe you're single, but oftentimes in relationships, the way we say things can get misconstrued. And, not only in relationships, folks, but real quick here in real life, I feel like, our generation now, right, where the age where we're in today is actually, we're more prone to text people versus picking up a phone and calling them, right? We almost would rather just shoot off a quick text message to somebody instead of picking up the phone and calling them. So I feel in this day and age, our text messages a lot of times can get misconstrued because there's no tonality behind that. There's no face to look at to get the facial expressions. There's no visual. There's no tonality. It's all left to words. And a lot of times, text messages can get misconstrued. I know they have in my experience. I don't know if they have for you, but they definitely can. And that's why I always feel it's more personable to actually get on the phone with somebody or even Skype somebody just to be able to see them and interact with them in that way. But I want to give you an example. If you're in a relationship, sometimes arguments may come up, right? Shocking fact that arguments actually may happen in a relationship. But, it's so many times the way that you approach that, right? Whatever the argument may be. But if you're going to come back to tell somebody, say, your girlfriend or wife comes back and says, you're in an argument and she did something wrong and she knows it, and then she comes back and says, you know what? I said I'm sorry. I said I'm sorry last night. Jeez. Right? If she says that, even though she's acknowledging the fact that she said she was sorry, she's saying it with that tonality as though it's almost attacking. It feels like it's an anger coming out of her, which it is. It's an angry way of saying it. And, of course, that's not going to help resolve the situation, right, in a peaceful way. That's actually going to aggravate it and escalate it. So, a softer approach would be like, honey, when you did this and this, give, clear examples. When you did such and such, I felt this way. And, I want to apologize if I may have come across wrong, but can we sit down and talk this out? That would be a softer approach to use, right? Because that kind of tonality is going to go a long way with the other person. It's going to make them feel at ease and really open up the lines to communicate in a healthy, right, productive manner. So, folks, I hope you were able to grab a little information, a little value out of this video here, right? About it's not what you say, it's how you say it. This can be effective in sales and business or in life in general or in your everyday relationships. So folks, take this with you, take it with you, run with it. Take at least one thing out of here and utilize it in your life. And we'll see you guys soon on my next video. You guys, until then, be well and be peaceful.